Second week now, coming to the end, nearly. I think 1 or 2 days, 2.5 days left. All the same, all different. All the same bureaucracy. It's my study, my dream to make a study of comparison. Bureaucracies of this world. You are united, but perhaps you're still somewhat different. But then there are differences, the tremendous friendliness I experience here, that everything is done for me. It's super friendly. And it would be, of course, unfriendly from my side if I said, no, I would prefer drinking coffee rather than tea. Or that I would prefer to take the subway, quick, comfortable, better than sitting in the murk, standing in the traffic jam. And yes, it is real help. Students who are there to help me, buying a phone card, for instance, also speak English or Deutsch or Italiano or Francais. But no, it would be heartbreaking to say anything against it. They are lovely. They are nice, they are supportive, they are what you may call good-hearted people. And then it would be a real help if some people would actually help me, even if they don't want to do, but they have to. Actually, why should they want to help a stranger? But anyway, it would be help if they just do what they're expected to do instead of pretending or putting all the energy in pretending friendliness. And of course, it's not the first kettle I have. I have had kettles before, and I know where the cable is, how to open the box, and how to connect it to the power plug, all this. Still, apparently it has to be explained. Essential things I learned over time, and there I really needed help, or I had to be attentive. For instance, for a vegetarian, it is important to look at biscuits. Sometimes it seems to be the last savor. Some sweets because you don't find anything else. And then you look at the biscuits, at the box. It's not only the eggs. There's other parts of chicken in it, in the cookies, in the biscuits, even if they are standing just as all the others in the confectionery section. Chicken, 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 not just the eggs. But what is special about it? It is here and there. You don't have these surprises. I remember once I went with a friend and colleague in Austria. We toured a little bit around part of the work. We have had a little bit of time, and then we toured around, and he said, let's go there. There's a chocolate manufacturer. A small, but smallish manufacturer. It was, amazing. Amongst others, I remember red and white, some blue stuff, I don't know what the blue was, but tomato ketchup and mayo and chocolate. The American dream coming true. And anyway, we have the cookie warning wherever we go. On the websites, always the cookie. We use cookie. Do you want to know more? Do you want to have the cookie warning as well on the biscuit packs? We have it anyway. We have more and more warnings. We have all this information. So much that we cannot digest it anymore, even if we would go through everything. But perhaps we know these things anyway. We know about sustainability and we know what is needed, at least to some extent. And here in China, we actually do something. Considering every little thing that helps. Radically reducing energy consumption, also and especially by saving on the small things. So on the one hand, you see the SUVs. Never ever saw so many SUVs per hand. Well, perhaps in Ireland when I lived in the countryside. But you see en masse the scooters. Large, big scooters, or, well, as I said recently, whenever it is possible to fix a wheel, you make a kind of scooter out of it. Electric engines, everything in electric engines. It is not allowed to have others in the cities, as far as I know. So it's not only the engine, something has to be added. And this is you drive so often just without light. Saving according to the principle, every little helps. You don't need a driving license, apparently, not even for the large ones. So you don't have to worry about this one to lose this precious license. Now, more on this and more serious. If I go in many areas, or, well, yeah, in many areas, at least here through Changsha, or I remember Shanghai and Beijing, but especially in a small-ish place like Changsha, and a new place where you find this development, new estates and new outlays of the city, there's so much green. It's unbelievable sometimes. Now, where I am at the Central South University, it's next to the mountain. It's just... Actually, I felt the other day reminded of my stay in Australia, where we went into the bush next to the university. You can't do this here, but sometimes if you look at the green, at these strong plants, you're wondering, how is it possible to have these environmental problems here? It is not the parks as we have it in Berlin, where you have plenty of green as well, the completely different cityscape in terms of many parks and then long distances to the next quarter of the city. Here it is really in the middle of it. Now we have the river cutting through the city, which is very pleasant, and we have the metro, which is very pleasant, and we get a new line, or two new lines actually soon. I guess it won't take as long as the new line in Berlin. But Berlin is a special case when it comes to building and the time it takes. Anyway, there's another thing, more and more serious. It would be bold to say it's a modern way of human trafficking. But if you look at it, it's important from which university you are, if it is important where you published, and all the other things. That's part of the learning from the West. So finally, I appreciate actually this document I hold since a couple of years. In the name of the gentleman, I don't know how many gentlemen, and in the name of the lady, I know that it's only one, saying mandata senatus diligentur, exequentes magno cum gaudio in dominum clarissimum ad cur amplissimum Petrum Hermann Romanum, ob eximina eius merita electrum socii ordinarii in classe jurisprudentiae nec non scientariu socialum et economicarum nomen et honoris aura et privilegia contulimus in eiusque rei fidem hasque litteras academiae sigillo sanciendas curaviumus. Member of the Academy of Science and Art. Now, while I'm saying it, it comes to my mind how to answer the requests of people here and there, how it is possible to be a member of this academy. Maybe there's a simple answer to it, saying, of course, if you're academic, there's no problem to become member of this club. And actually, there may be two clubs open for you. The one is the Roman Catholic and the other is the academic. You just have to speak Latin. It's a small circle, and there won't be much interference. Of course, you have to know a little bit more than salve, and you should avoid jokes at the annual evening reception that may be an embarrassment. If you don't, then don't, meaning just be quiet. Human is if you laugh anyway. Or simply if you don't forget that reality is another one. The reality is another one, is different to what we make out of it. And the reality is, how to say, it's different here and there, even if you see many things that seem to be similar. As much as it is different now and then. Just watch a movie, at least some scenes. It's about Wenda's dreams of desire. Definitely a new version, a new edition would make sense, would be necessary. There are so many claims that projects said we are in the footsteps of Wenda's, of these dreams of desire. At least from what I know, none of them approached it in a proper way. None of them came near to it. None of them captured the subtle spirit of Wenda's angels, the deep feeling of dissonance and consonance, of consent and dissent, of hope and lost hopes. Nobody reached this, and probably nobody reached Fellini's Dolce Vita. There are these classics about life's general madness. Actually, I still have to watch Woody Allen. I never have had an idea. There's a reason for it. Anyway, that's another story. General madness, it seems to be madness, but sometimes I'm wondering, being here now, if it is madness or if it is perhaps socialism. But it can't be capitalism. Capitalism needs predictability, it needs clear lines, and it needs, in part at least, transparency, light on the way. For the time being, I'll leave it here. Enjoy the week.